it's conversations like this and the debate last night that make me wish a species of alien would infect the planet and make it so none of us could talk to each other ever again, as is the plot of the film A Quiet Place. Hot Dog, have you heard about A Quiet Place?
No, but that was a good segment.
I appreciate that, my man. I appreciate that. I'm the last professional broadcaster. A Quiet Place, of course, the movie that came out years ago, starring what's his name from Jim from The Office, and Emily Blunt. They got to be quiet because there's these monsters that live on the planet Earth now. They've infected the entire planet Earth. The human race is in danger, and these monsters, they will immediately kill and destroy you. They're really great, right? They're like almost like spiders. They move like spiders, but they only have 4 legs, but they're moving on all of them. But they're bigger than people. Like, they're giant, and they got razor sharp teeth, and they're very, very strong, and they got very good hearing. And the reason their hearing is so good is because they can't see. So you can
like the clickers from The Last of Us.
Sure. So you can avoid them as long as you're silent. But the minute you speak, the minute you make a sound, they're everywhere. So they come out of nowhere. You don't even know they're around you. But they hear that and they need to feed. They eat people. They need to feed. And so that was the premise of A Quiet Place, which, a lot of people saw. A very, very successful film. They did A Quiet Place. They did A Quiet Place 2. Now, in theaters now, I went and saw it today, A Quiet Place Day 1. This is a prequel to the original Quiet Place, starring Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn from the Stranger Things. He was the guy with the long hair that played Metallica. He was awesome in Stranger Things. He's in A Quiet Place Day 1. And what we see here is what it sounds like. It's the first day that the Earth got overtaken by this species of alien that is there to feed on humanity. And we see it from the perspective of New York City. Now, it's done in such a way where if you really wanted to, and they may do it, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it as a series. I don't think they'll do a ton of movies. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it as a series, because there's one scene in this movie where they make it clear that while we are going through this story that's in New York City, this is happening all over the world, right? There are different cities. You see at one point somebody is listening to a radio, like a transistor, like an old school radio, because the power goes out. And so she's listening to like an old school radio and marking on a globe different cities. And to me, anyway, the implication was that this is happening all over the place. Lupita Nyong'o, the star of this, is a cancer patient in this, and starts as a cancer patient. So what you see is, from her perspective, death has been knocking on her door for quite some time. She's been readying herself for the fact that her days are numbered on this planet. But for all the other characters, you kind of see that immediate effect of, this might be the last day of my life, which is interesting. It's an interesting thing to go through. My reaction, rating, review of the movie, it's aight. That's it.
Oh, man.
No, it's aight. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not really necessary at all to the series. Like, I watched going like, oh, that was cool to see those Quiet Place monsters going all over New York City. But ultimately, I didn't feel like I had learned anything new. I didn't feel like it's like, oh, that's where it started. Oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. Like, there are little things where I guess they wanted to like really explore the relationship between these two characters that find each other. And I'm not going to do spoilers. I don't want to unplug myself. I'm not going to do spoilers, but these two characters find each other during the attack. And that's not a spoiler. That's kind of the setup, But they don't start the movie out together. They find each other during the attack, and they cling together as they're running from these creatures. But you don't, like, the idea that you're not making a sound, and that's how you're escaping these creatures. In the original Quiet Place movie, you're kind of like, oh, they've been living with this for some time now. So they've kind of adapted to living this way. In this movie, there's no journey that the characters go on in figuring out that they have to be quiet. They just kind of immediately go, all right, we'll just be quiet then. And that seems to work. Like there's not there. It just, here we go. Normal
That kind
life.
of defeats like I feel like half the setup then.
Right.
It's supposed to be a prequel.
So like there's all these things like that, right? So it's like there is no journey of the first people who figured out how to be quiet. There's no real journey of the attack. Like, in Cloverfield, how when the Cloverfield comes, there's all these theories of like, oh, maybe in this scene where this thing hits the water, it activates the Cloverfield, right? Like there's all those, coming out of Cloverfield, there are all these theories about how it was awakened. It's just one day all these aliens came.
But also, I guess you can't harp on it too long because everyone already knows the payoff. So
correct,
whatever...
like you can't wait for the reveal, but at the same time, you can go on that journey because you have a city full of people. Don't forget, like in the other movies, there's a limited cast, but in this movie, you've got a city full of people and buildings and cars and all kinds of destruction that can happen. So on the journey, because the idea is they're all going to die anyway, right? I mean, if this is a prequel and we know based on the 2 sequels that follow it that these aliens are going to take over the planet, we know that humanity is not in good standing. So the idea that like, oh, maybe they'll live happily ever after, this is a prequel. That's not really an option so much, unless we see Jim from The Office somewhere running around, which we don't. So I think that you can go on a journey, not for the whole movie, but for at least 20 minutes, 15 minutes, where you're 10 minutes even, where it's like, oh, what if we do this? And then this person dies, that person dies, this building comes down, this car gets flipped over. And then one person is the first person that goes, wait. If you've got that moment, wait. And then all the destruction finally subsides, right? It's like aliens attack, destruction, destruction, destruction. How are we ever going to stop this? We have a moment of relief when the first person goes. It's like when I moved on to a new topic instead of talking about the debate. There's this moment of relief that the audience feels because I went. You know what I mean?
Right, before I pull up again with my...
You're just trying to cool yourself out. No, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like you don't spend, you're right. You're right that you don't spend the whole movie going, like we know they're going to be quiet. You don't need to spend, but a good 10...
You're right, that's like the big reveal at the end of like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And
like,
then it ends.
Yeah. We knew that. We saw we saw the other movies, but they're just nothing has exposition. Like the reason that the creatures come to Earth, there's no exposition. The reason, the discovery that they need to be quiet, no exposition. Even the chemistry between these two of like how this love story, this story between the two of them, this partnership blossoms. There's really, not to me, and you may disagree, but I did not find, there was a lack of exposition in that. It was just like.
How's Lupita as a lead?
Well, she was good. I thought she was good. That's a good question. I thought she was good. I thought that there was a foundation built to her character. I felt like there was a mission that she was on. We went on a journey with her. She started very hard and then kind of softened up as it went. I thought Lupita was really good. Yeah. No, I thought she did that thing. And when you ask about her being a lead, this is one of those movies where she's in almost every scene. Like she's like, it's her movie. This is her story. And yeah, you do find yourself going on the journey rooting for her. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just ended up feeling like we're just observing this thing. Like we know what's going to happen in this movie. Now we can watch it happen and that's it. That's what happened. You know what I mean? And so there's no, none of that. And I like that.
I think this could have been, from what I'm hearing, this could have been straight to DVD, if that was still the case.
I mean, I guess, but you're not putting Lupita straight to streaming, you know? I mean, unless you could have made it a Netflix movie, where it's one of those more high budget.
Yeah.
Why are you hating on the Quiet Place franchise, a giant franchise?
Yeah, but I mean, there's giant franchises that by the third movie they release straight to DVD or streaming. It's not unprecedented. They could have
You
done that. And I never thought
you
Lupita
still
was
got
like a.
that hostility still in you,
I
dude.
never thought Lupita was a good lead.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Okay. All right. You're a hater today. Okay. All right. You still got that hostility in you. You want to be argumentative.
no, I'm
I
not
mean,
being
the idea
argumentative.
that you'd have one very successful movie, make a lot of money, and then a sequel be very successful and make a lot of money. And you're like, we got the third one with Joseph Quinn and Lupita Nyong'o. And you're like, they should just go straight to Redbox? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you just described it as so
I mean, I'm saying I didn't enjoy it, but I wasn't sitting there going like, why would they bother to put this in a movie theater? Like, that's totally unreasonable.
the movie theaters now are for like Avenger movies or
Incorrect.
like Scorsese, like huge.
Okay. Totally incorrect, first of all, because the last Scorsese movies were literally Apple movies. And second of all, Marvel is suffering. So I don't know why you're coming at me with these like, hey, welcome to 2019. I've got some theories for you. How does that
I
feel?
didn't say that. I didn't
How does
say
that feel?
bro. I
How do
didn't
you
say-
feel? How do you feel? Because what you just said doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you look at the movies that have done, then why? How if theaters are no longer for movies like A Quiet Place, how did the last two movies do so well?
I'm just saying well, Home Alone 1 and 2 did great too. I'm pretty sure Home Alone by the time
They
4 came out, it
recast
was
the
straight to
lead.
DVD.
Macaulay Culkin wasn't in it.
All right, and John wasn't in this.
The aliens are the stars. The premise is
Oh.
the star. Being quiet is the star. It's prequel. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
Okay, the brand is the yeah, no, yeah. Now you're getting worked up.
Because you're mad about everything.
Well, now you're mad.
I'm not mad, dude. I went and saw a movie today. I had my popcorn. You're like, that's crazy that they would put that in a theater. What are you talking about?
I didn't say that. I said it sounds like that should have. I'm not saying it has. It would have been better off on Netflix.
No, you didn't. You said straight to DVD. And when I said Netflix, you kind of rolled your eyes like that was too good. Meanwhile, it's a literally,
Tubi, maybe Tubi.
it's a disaster movie that takes place in New York City with Lupita Nyong'o. It's a high budget movie.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Lupita.
Why? Why are you mad at Lupita?
Well,
You got
I
mad.
just don't-
You wanted me to hate on her. When I said she was good, you were like, meh. Should have been Redbox.
There's
Redbox.
a reason I asked that question.
Why don't you
Well,
like?
I don't hate her. I just don't think.
I
like,
never heard
think-
anybody say like, "Oh, I don't like Lupita Nyong'o."
I thought she was good in Us.
She's
I
great
thought
in
she-
Us.
Yeah, yeah. But when any other movie that I've seen her in, I was like, oh, she doesn't have the charisma to lead an entire movie.
She's every scene in this movie.
Yeah, and exactly, and it was
You didn't even know about the first one. You didn't. Even, I was explaining the premise to you, and you were like, "Oh, interesting." I was like, "Really? You had never heard about A Quiet Place?"
I'm sure if you replaced her with somebody else who had more charisma, who was in the entire movie, you would have bumped it up a point or two.
Kilo is saying, "Get hot dog some cranberry juice for his period."
Hot dog, no, come on. I don't have a period. I'm a.
I'm a genetic man.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I thought the alien.
Well, I thought this was the no spin zone.
You thought this was the O'Reilly factor?
I thought we were just giving our. Thoughts here. It was
No, I thought we like. I like to do a show that's like fun and entertaining, not just like somebody like who's just a hater and just shitting on things because he's mad. That's my thing is like, oh, let's just have some fun and have fun talking about stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm mad at Lupita Nyong'o now.
Okay.
That's insane.
You took it personally when I said it.
I don't know. I just never seen him in star in anything. I don't know. What are you talking about?
Nah, dude, just chill out.
If anything, high concept horror and thriller movies that don't have these blown out Marvel budgets are exactly what the movie theater is for, and they're the things that are saving movie theaters.
But this wasn't one of them.
How do you know?
It's
been
high
out.
concept.
You don't think? A world in which monsters exist and you're not allowed to talk, so people have to figure out how to tell a whole story. You don't think this is high concept? Do you
No, I'm
even
saying
know?
this. I'm saying this movie, from what you described, this plot.
Do you understand what high concept even means? Like,
No, I know. The concept of but yeah, the concept of the franchise, sure, but the concept of this movie, no.
you have to argue with everything.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm defending my thoughts on it. I heard. I was like, it sounds. I was like this. I was like, it sounds like that should have been straight to DVD.
That's not how you were like at all.
Yeah, and then you got mad at me.
Nobody's going to be on your side this time.
I'll find one person in the chat. I'm looking.